Hello, new and faithful listeners, and welcome to Remainders, the podcast dedicated to exploring the wonder and joy that is the movies. The old, the new, the remembered, the ones that are sometimes forgotten. And as we record this episode, it is August 6th, 2025. Today, we're jumping feet first and hand in hand into the explosively fun film from 1990, Joe Versus the Volcano. Hard to believe this is the first film that started a very successful run for Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. The film's lead actors, who would both go on to have legendary careers and star alongside one another in two other gigantic romantic comedies of the 90s, You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle. Joe Banks, played by Hanks, is the classic everyman worker drone who hates his job almost as much as he hates the perma-sick feeling he carries around with him every day. Destined to do something to feel better, he sees a doctor who tells him, of course, that he has a brain cloud. That's going to kill him in a few months. So with this news, Joe's visited by the great Lloyd Bridges, who plays a super rich fat cat who says he learned of Joe's terminal condition and manipulates him into jumping into a volcano so that he can get the natives to keep letting him use materials to make superconductors. Wild. Joe agrees to do this zany suicide leap immediately and starts living it up on the rich man's dime while he prepares to do something only a 90s movie plot could whip up. Jump into a volcano. From here, we begin our journey and start to see what living really looks like through the eyes of Joe. I somehow saw this film in theaters back in 1990, and I'll tell you this, I absolutely loved it then, and I cannot get enough of it now as an adult. I'm thrilled to talk about it with my co-host and friend, Patrick McIntyre. Pat, I know that this is a first watch for you, and I got to know, what are your first reactions?
It just dawned on me like 2 hours ago that I watched the whole movie the entire time. I didn't even put it together that Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks got together for 2 more movies after this. That's how fantastic of a watch this was, that it didn't even dawn on me that they were the two in the movie. Like, it was just a total brain fart. And so this is the first time. This was always I don't know, like, it just wasn't talked about too much, like back in the day of all the Tom Hanks movies from the 80s and early 90s. I mean, this is definitely like an 80s Tom Hanks movie. It came out in 90, but that's still an 80s one. And it was a fucking treat. Like, I get why this movie was kind of like a little bit forgotten, because it is really weird and a little dark. But this is like as good as like his 80s output for sure. So I'm happy you had us watch this, because when you first said it, I was like, really? Does anybody like that movie? Turns out that it does have a huge cult following. So, and for good reason, I can tell now. So
it's weird. So, telling you about this film and actually knowing that you had not seen it because you mentioned that, I was like, oh, okay, good. Because I knew watching it I watched it over the weekend, and I knew seeing it again as an adult that you would like it, like I had this. So the audience out there, I watched this film in the theaters, and somehow I've carried it around all of this time with this like feeling that it was just like such a good movie. And I think there's a few reasons for that, and we'll go into it. But like, it was definitely lost on me what it was about, but it's fun. Like, and as a kid, there's like a lot of fun moments. It is dark, but you don't really get that as a kid. But even as a kid, there was a lot of dark things happening in movies that you kind of, I don't know, it's part of the magic, I guess, and also having like set design though. So the set designer and the art direction and everything was done. My girlfriend had mentioned this, by the guy who did Beetlejuice. And so maybe that's where you're getting a little bit of that dark tone from. And everything with this film is just, it's got that right concoction of like who wrote a story about jumping into a volcano. Like, how could that be a major motion picture, and then let alone starring 2 of the biggest stars. Of course, they weren't yet at the time, but also then to fast forward and it not really being thought of as a memorable movie. Very interesting film that we're covering today. If you're out there, I would love to hear some of your reactions about this film, but for some reason it just stayed with me. And I was asked a question on another podcast about my top 5 80s films growing up. And somehow this film was in there. Like I had thought about this film, and then I thought, well, Pat and I got to cover this because I haven't seen it in forever. But like it popped into like, whoa, this might be up there with like the Goonies, like, all those. It's not, okay, but it might. It popped in there with like that in that conversation in my brain. So now that we're older and I actually saw it with a different lens, I'm like, holy shit, this has a lot to say to humanity, to people.
I loved it. So Bo Welch, the production designer, that's what you're referring to. Yeah. So
Yes.
it's fun. I mean, I didn't really look at too much of the behind the scenes cast, but I was right. I wrote down, like, I had vibes of Tim Burton and Henry Selick, with a lot of Henry Selick, who did like Nightmare Before Christmas and worked with Tim Burton a lot. And there are definitely like special effects that kind of have that vibe. So I could see where a little bit comes from that around that time.
Like the hammerhead shark?
The hammerhead shark. I mean, the moon, there was just a lot of shots that felt very Tim Burton-esque and Henry Selick, and also Terry Gilliam. I got like a kind of a vibe of that, with that surrealism with that. This movie would definitely also fit in with the Coen Brothers filmography.
Yeah,
just
I can
kind
see
of
that.
The entire movie. I genuinely think you could just tell somebody this was a Coen Brothers movie, and it's not like anybody wouldn't believe you or anything. Like, it is such like the accurate vibe in terms of like the setting, like the dark setting of it, but it's still classic Hollywood, because that's what this movie is. It's classic Hollywood in a screwball comedy, like, put together.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
It's like, and that's like right up Coen Brothers vibe. And this was in 1990, so this was still like, the Coen Brothers were only like 3 movies in at the time, so it was kind of right around that when they were still kind of defining their vibe. I mean, that's a tall statement. Top 5 movies of the 80s, but that's pretty awesome. I've only seen it the once, so maybe over time it'll come to appreciate it. But yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like that's the thing, is like I wrote down 15 movies when I had to put my top 5 together. Now, it didn't make the top 5 list, but again, it's just the fact that I thought about it. I thought about it in that scale, and I don't. But again, like, it's weird because like I saw it once as a kid in the theaters, and it had that magic to it, like you're saying, like the big moon. And just like that, he's got to jump into a volcano. Like, it's this weird story that resonated with me as a kid. But now, obviously, it's got like Metropolis vibes, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Which we talk about all the time on this podcast. Like, Metropolis kind of comes up a lot, just these workers. And it starts out like that. They're like kind of droning into, what's seemingly the rest of their life, clocking in and out every day. And it's like they're all wearing gray, there's no color. It's all just, and like, of course, like, his shoe is falling off. He steps in mud. It's just the shittiest existence. And this is how this movie starts out. So for it to play out so colorfully, later on, it's a nice arc, right? Go ahead.
That was a big thing. I was feeling after I finished it, I was like, this movie like almost does a 180 from like what the first like half hour of the movie looks and feels like you're describing right there, to where it ends up going. It is pretty impressive that it does that. So John Patrick Shanley is the director and writer of this. Playwright for decades. Directed Moonstruck. I think he got the Oscar for that only a couple years before this. And yeah, a lot of the credit goes to him. Like him being a playwright background, that's where all the themes of like mortality and the meaning of life come from, is like his drive to like put that into film. So I definitely think he gets pretty much the majority of the credit for where this movie comes from and where it wanted to go. So.
Yeah, totally. Because then you start to think about like, it doesn't really matter about the volcano, that's like a means to like get him to realize that life is better without, clocking in and out, and to actually live and not to be a hypochondriac and all these different things. But it needed to have like some sort of like, okay, the guy thinks he's sick all the time. And maybe he does feel sick because he's doing this like droning job, but he doesn't start to actually live until he quits it. But what takes him to quit that job? And I believe that this is what the writer and the director had said, is that like, that idea of like going in to work all the time. Like you just accept it as your reality, and it doesn't have to be that way. You could actually be happy if you cut out some of these things. And of course, we all have to make money and that kind of stuff. But like that scene, it's so beautiful right after he quits his job and goes in there. And so to everybody listening, if you haven't seen this, we do spoilers, and this movie's been out for a while, so I think it's okay. But he finds out he's got this brain cloud, and it's like it sounds as ridiculous as it is in the scene, because first of all, Unsolved Mysteries, Robert Stack is his doctor, and he's got that great voice and everything, and he's kind of like, well, you've got a brain cloud, he's like kind of like, he's like, well, do I have this? Do I have that? He's like, no, nothing that serious, but you do have a brain cloud, and he's like, you got like a couple months, and my advice to you is just to go on a trip, go out and see the world. So like, it's already setting up as like the most ridiculous thing. They call it a brain cloud, and the brain cloud is going to kill him. And that kind of stuff is like why it also works, I think, is because it's like kind of a joke. A lot of the stuff is a joke, but it's serious as well, And he gets that news, goes and quits his job right away because he's like, well, I'm going to die and I hate this job, so fuck it. And then gets outside and he notices the dog and the woman walk over with the dog. And I don't know if you noticed this, and Marianne actually pointed this out, my girlfriend, as they're pulling back really, really, really wide, right? It's pulling back to see like how big his world has now become, that he's quit his job. And all of a sudden you're seeing like color for the first time, and he notices the dog, and he's petting the dog and he's spending time with it. And like, actually these little things that you just like don't pay attention to in your daily life now have come really into focus. And that's the first moment. And from there, we were both like blown away. We're like, holy shit, this movie is so much. It's like, it's saying so much more than I thought it was, because again, nobody talks about this film. Joe Versus the Volcano sounds ridiculous, right? But it's got a lot to offer.
Yeah, and he hugs the woman. That's one of the big things that I noticed. Yeah, it's like the very last shot, like after he's like playing with the dog and it's moving out. The very last shot is like him hugging the woman. And it's like super small by the time that is, but that's what I noticed also too.
And so great, by the way. If we're going to talk for a second about Tom Hanks, I mean, both him and Meg Ryan, who plays three characters, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But like, as an everyman, that was like the perfect like start to like be like, yeah, I can see myself in Tom Hanks, So he was cast brilliantly.
I'm loving it, watching him in the first 30 minutes. I literally wrote down Tom Hanks playing a great crumb bum, which is nothing you see very often. So he's not usually playing like kind of a scumbag kind of character. I mean, he's a little sick here, but he's also kind of just dismissive about life in general. So, but yeah, I mean, let's stay on what you were talking about with his realization of death. I mean, this is a quote from John Patrick Shanley, the writer-director, about death, because I mean, that was a huge thing I took away from this movie. It's just the Buddhist theme of letting go. And once you let go, you're free to experience everything and anything. And that's a common theme in Buddhism. People reporting of like once they learn of their impending death, learn of like a terminal illness or whatnot. A lot of people who have studied Buddhism and meditation, they often talk about how it's one of the most freeing points in their lives, and that they experience complete and utter freedom that they had never experienced before upon learning about their death, like an actual death that's going to happen. We all know we're going to die, but once you get like a case of brain cloud, you are free to actually live your life. And that's kind of the main theme of this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Joe Strummer quote that I love. It's like a man who has nothing is at his most dangerous, or when you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is Shanley's quote. Almost all of us are in denial about death. And the weird thing is, you think they do that because if you worry about death, you couldn't enjoy your life. But I think the reverse is true. If you don't recognize your mortality, you're tiptoeing through life and not letting in the full reality of what it is. When Joe lets that in, that's when life comes flooding in. So he realizes, just like when he lets the impending doom that he faces, death, brain cloud, the volcano, that's when his life comes flooding in. That's why he gets 3 different versions of Meg Ryan just pawning after him for the rest of the movie. So,
and that first version of Meg Ryan says to him when they're making out, and she's like, "Oh my God, there's some kind of life in you." She's like, "I love this," and then he's like, "Well, I'm going to die." And then she's like totally freaked out. And she says, she says in that scene, like, you're going to die. And he's like, yeah, but so what? That's what that's exactly in that moment is exactly what you're talking about. Like,
that's a perfect Tom Hanks 80s reaction. Yeah, but so what? It is what it is. So, you get the brunette, you get the ginger, and the blonde Meg Ryan leading him through the rest of the movie with possibly finding a reason not to jump in the volcano. So, and
let me just say, like, first of all three characters played brilliantly by Meg Ryan.
She's really fucking good in this. Like I said, I honestly, the entire time watching the movie, it did not even dawn on me. They're like, oh, they were both in Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. Because I haven't seen either one of those like since they first came out. I probably saw Sleepless in Seattle in like 96 and You Got Mail maybe when it was on HBO in like 99. I have not seen or thought about either of those movies since then. So.
I've never seen You've Got Mail. I saw Sleepless in Seattle probably for the first time, I don't know, 4 years ago or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know why it was on TV and I'm like, I should see this,
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's just maybe like this being the precursor for that is awesome. Because they're so good.
And those were huge. I mean, if you recall at the time, those were just the most biggest movies, for anybody. And this is like the same kind of deal. It's like, but it's not remembered the same way.
I mean, this one is way more. I mean, those movies are way more conventional than this. This is
yes.
There's a reason why this movie wasn't like super successful because it is a little bit out there for mainstream audiences. Like we mentioned, Coen Brothers. It's like a lot of the movies are absolutely iconic amongst the cinephiles and whatnot and the mainstream, but like it's not like they're huge box office hits. And this movie was like a modest hit. It didn't like bomb or anything, but like it certainly wasn't in line with like Big or any of other Tom Hanks huge movies.
Isn't that the funny thing is like it without the volcano and the craziness of the story, like it wouldn't have worked and we wouldn't be celebrating it, I think, as we are right now. Or
that's why it
wouldn't last as long,
No, like I opened last week, MacGruber's a cult film. This is definitely a cult film too. So like it has like a huge audience that actually do love it. Once I like kind of looked into it a little bit more, like there are a lot of people who really love this movie. I mean, people saw it ahead of time. I'm sure you saw it, but Ebert gave it 3.5 stars when it first came out. And he actually brought this movie to Ebert Fest in 2012, just a year before his death. And he quoted, I wonder why I didn't give it 4 stars when it first came out.
I read that.
He fucking loved this movie.
I loved it. And it, from what I read I think maybe you saw that on the Wikipedia because I didn't read the whole Ebert thing. I just saw that clip on Wikipedia. And when I saw that, I was like, this fucking guy gets it. Like everybody else was trashing it, I think, from critics' standpoints at the time. He just like knew that there was more to this film, I would love to read his full review because that's a great little snippet. Like at Ebert Fest, 1 year before he dies.
Well, that's
knowing that he's dying. Probably
the dude knows he's not going to be around very much longer, and so watching this movie, I'm sure, would have been a surreal experience for him in 2012 for sure. So
exactly, and that's the point of this film. So for everybody listening to this and has made it this far, we're just getting started. So right. But I'm just saying, like we're talking about a movie that is really on a bigger playing field. It has so much to talk about with your mortality and what it's like to live, like what it's like to really live. And I love that scene that they're on the trunks and they're in, and he starts to dance and he's got the radio on and like very like Castaway vibes, of course, too. It's a little precursor to Castaway, but him just like living and he made because like he already thinks he's dying because of the brain cloud, but now he's in the middle of the ocean where he's probably never going to get saved and he's probably going to die. But like there's that amazing dance and then there's that amazing moment in front of the moon where he talks to God and says, I didn't know, oh my God, is that a beautiful scene?
Yeah, there's a lot of good music montages in this movie. The music is great.
Down. Yeah.
A lot of great pop, rock and roll, old school tunes. And then a lot of like soft, dreamlike covers that like it makes it really feel like a dream in a lot of the scenes when the music's playing out as it's transitioning or focusing on him and what he's doing and how he's living life. Elvis's Blue Moon that you love. Has a great
that, yep.
is featured in a great way. Eric Burden, he has a cover which opens the movie, which is like, again, it's like a totally different vibe. It's just all over the place in terms of the music that it covers, and like every music selection like just captures the vibe like perfectly. So two of the songs, I mean, are written and directed by the director, John Patrick Shanley. One of which is the one that Hanks performs on the ukulele and sings himself. So that's he's a songwriter too, so he does those.
I forget exactly how it goes, but
I'll let you sing it.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful moment too.
But I mean, I was thinking like this movie will continue to stand the test of time. I think this movie will continue to find more audiences. I mean, it's like decades old now, but like I think it will continue. But like the idea of absurdism and work sucks are eternal themes. So this is a movie that will always have those themes at the forefront, in addition to the mortality and the Buddhism aspect of it. So I do think
there's a great mixture, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And so this movie, I think, will continue to be remembered in a much more prominent light than it previously has. So.
Oh man, I'm loving that you love this film.
I was genuinely surprised, again, because of how little I've heard people talk about it. Like in I haven't sought it out myself, but like I just generally haven't heard a lot of people point this movie out over the years. I saw a couple scenes of it. I remember on Comedy Central when I was a kid and never watched the whole thing. And for whatever reason, I hadn't heard too much about it. And I was just so pleasantly surprised at how high quality it was in terms of the writing and the absurdism. And again, like I said, it would fit so well into a Coen Brothers or Terry Gilliam or a Tim Burton type vibe of it. I was often thinking of Big Fish a little bit, kind of has a similar vibe to that. It would just fit so well into any of those filmographies. So,
because even though Big Fish is like, got the fantastical part of it, it's still more realist, and it kind of mixes those two worlds pretty well. I agree with you. That's a good comparison. Talking quickly about kind of more in depth about Meg Ryan and her three characters. Now, I love what you said. Like, you've got the brunette, redhead, and then blonde, right? So there's three types of girls. She's playing all of them. But when you focus in a little bit more on the types of girls that they are, the first one is the girl that's like kind of the receptionist and worker, that's the typewriter in the really kind of shitty work environment, who's kind of meek and meager and doesn't really seem to have a lot of confidence. And then you go and you meet the Meg Ryan, who is the daughter of the rich guy who's paying for him to jump into the volcano. She is the Hollywood actress type who is just kind of daddy's money and doesn't really have a guidance for herself and where she's going. But she's kind of out here being an actress in LA, and she's kind of taking her dad's money, but not really happy in life. And then you've got the Meg Ryan who he really falls for, who is really, really confident, even says she's the confident type, and is sort of like this. She has her dad's money, but she gives into it a little bit, but hates herself for it and wants to stand on her own. That's pretty amazing arc of like maybe some of the relationships you might have in life,
She's the all-American blonde by the end. So
yeah. And like caring about him, like legitimately, and loving, him, and decides to take the leap with him. Spoiler alert, she takes the leap with him.
Which Meg was your favorite?
The last one, of course. Yeah. Okay. How about you?
They all serve a different purpose. He could have gotten with all three of them, only ended up getting with the last one. So, he had to learn his way into it. So as you said, if you have a chance to jump in a volcano from Lloyd Bridges, you got to focus on that. So
yeah, Lloyd Bridges tells you, want to pay you a shitload of money to jump into a volcano. You tend to say, yeah, I'm not going to think about anything else but what Lloyd Bridges asked me to do.
Right. No, just to be clear, like Meg Ryan's fucking fantastic in this movie. The way she's able to play all three of these characters who are similar, but different enough in the way that it serves like where he's at in this journey. It's not like her characters are serving him, but like it's just his reaction to them and what he's kind of going through and where they at their lives. Yeah, she's fucking fantastic. There's a reason why they got back together for 2 more movies, because they are really
the chemistry is perfect.
The chemistry is incredible with this one. So,
and even with 3 different versions of Meg Ryan, like
right.
It's good with all of them. It's so good. I don't know if they really make an actor like either of them right now. It's hard to say.
I mean, as we've mentioned multiple times, they don't really exist too much anymore.
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney. How about that? All American Girl. So
I haven't seen any of her films, but not that I don't want to. I just don't really know. Yeah.
She's the smoking hot All American. Why not? So give her a chance. She was in a romantic. I didn't see it, but she was in a romantic comedy last year with Glenn Powell. Oh, and yeah. It did pretty decent at the theater. It's a dying genre, so I probably should have gone and see it. But The
only thing I want to see Glenn Powell in Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, the rewatch. I thought you were going to talk about something new. So
no, I mean I'm not counting him out. I just haven't seen anything but Top Gun Maverick with him. I'm pretty sure that's the only film I've seen him in.
I'm interested in Edgar Wright's remake of The Running Man. It looks weird. It's with him. I saw the preview with Glenn Powell. Edgar Wright remaking the Schwarzenegger movie based on that's Stephen King story, right? I think so. The Running Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, you got more Glenn Powell coming your way. So
yeah, all I know about is right now, Tom Hanks hasn't had I think very many popular movies in the last 10 years, right?
No, he's also no, he hasn't had he played Colonel in Elvis for sure. So
okay, I loved him in Elvis. We clearly did our episode on that, but yeah, I don't think there's been much of it's unfortunate because Tom Hanks is looked at as such a great part of people.
No, he's definitely not a movie star anymore. I mean, he is, but it's not even close to how much of a god he was in the early 90s.
Yeah, because if you put it in context, right? So we're talking about a movie from 1990 right now. Yeah. And then there's The Money Pit, there's we're talking about 94 is Forrest Gump. So only 4 years later. And I think 93 was Sleepless in Seattle, right? So he is just starting to fucking kill it all through the 90s and the 2000s. I mean, that guy could do no wrong.
I mean,
Big was probably 88.
It's easy to forget, how much he wasn't Oscar nominated and one of the biggest draws in the world like he was in the early 90s, but he was a huge actor all through the 80s. I mean, Splash was 84, Bachelor
Holy
Party.
Shit. Turner and Hooch, dude.
Yeah, Bachelor Party. Money Pit was 86. Big was 88. So, I mean, that's him becoming already hugely famous. Our favorite, The Burbs in 89. A little bit of a bomb, but it's still one of his most remembered. And then, Turner and Hooch. And then that leads right to Joe Versus the Volcano. So by the time this movie came out, he was already dude,
there's a good 30 years where he didn't make a movie that was bad. Oh,
I didn't see all of his movies. I'm looking at all this. I'm sure there's some.
Right, but he kind of is in these quirky, kind of slapsticky movies.
Yeah,
then true. Graduates to serious fucking film. That will go down in history as the best films of all time. Forrest Gump. Are you kidding me?
You know what movie?
Philadelphia.
I've never seen from the 80s of his that I've always wanted to is Nothing in Common. Him and Jackie Gleason playing father-son. A successful advertising executive finds his freewheeling life crashing to a halt when his parents end their longtime marriage. Directed by Gary Marshall. I've always heard kind of good things about this movie, but just the two of them, Tom Hanks and Jackie Gleason. Always
Gary Marshall. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Just say no more. I don't know why we haven't seen that.
So that's a blind spot in his 80 filmography. So,
but yeah, like I'm saying, like towards like the end of the 90s and then into the 2000s, you've got Tom Hanks as like the serious, like the more dramatic Tom Hanks playing.
Well, for sure. Yeah.
He won the Oscar for Philadelphia. I think that was his first Oscar, right? Or maybe was it Forrest Gump? I can't remember.
No, Philadelphia was first and then Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And then let's not forget one of the best comedic performances of all time. Side performances is him in A League of Their Own.
Oh yeah, dude, Gary Marshall, right?
He's batting, no pun intended. He's batting 1,000.
Oh, no, Penny Marshall directed that. Gary Marshall's in it. And then also, dude, That Thing You Do, written and directed by Tom fucking Hanks. Tom Hanks. Just for a second, when you really, really, really break it down and you think for a second and you give it a second to say, wow, how lucky were we to grow up in a time where Tom Hanks was making movies? I mean, it is kind of weird that you don't really see him all the time right now. You know, he's still. He
shows up. He was featured pretty prominently in the Phoenician Scheme. Anderson's new movie. And so he's just doing more bit parts. He's not like starring in. Well, a lot of his movies are not doing very well here. Apollo, fucking Da Vinci Code. This shit's coming back to me like the Ron Howard stuff. You know, whoa. All right, let's go through it. Let's have some structure to it. I want to and then obviously Woody, starting in '95. You know, one of the most iconic voices.
Oh my God, blowing my mind right now.
Is this the first time you've thought about Tom Hanks you
just like really just think about like the hit after hit. I mean, is that the richest actor in the world? I mean, he has to be, right?
If he's good with money, maybe. But 90s, in the middle of 90s, Apollo 13, Toy Story, That Thing You Do, Saving Private Ryan. That's that's easy to kind of remember that one more as a Spielberg movie, but
right.
And then you get into the Green Mile and Castaway in like 2000.
Oh my God, Green Mile, dude.
Catch Me If You Can. He's unfortunately the star of one of the worst Coen Brothers movies, The Lady Killers, in 2004.
Oh, right.
And then The Terminal, also in 2004. So that was when he was first taking wait a minute, this guy can do wrong. So
yeah, Terminal though, like that was still Spielberg, right?
Is that Spielberg? Yeah, that is. That's not a good movie.
I mean, I saw it. I don't remember it. So maybe
exactly. So yeah, you're not missing much. So
yeah.
You're right. It is. He does like kind of like generic stuff like Angels and Demons.
Yeah, but those are still pretty big hits.
Exactly. They're, he's still successful,
but also based on really popular books. So there's that.
But I've never seen Cloud Atlas.
Neither have I. And actually that got good reviews, if I remember right.
Captain Phillips, pretty fun movie.
Oh, dude, Sully's
good. I do like Sully. Oh, wait a minute.
Sully,
okay.
But yeah.
I've texted you about this one in the past. Hugely underrated Spielberg movie is Bridge of Spies. Tom Hanks and Bridge of Spies.
Have not seen.
In 2015. It's one of Spielberg's most underrated movies. I get why it's like not always talked about because it is a slow burn and it's more of like an adult kind of drama. It's not super flashy, but he's fucking fantastic in that. And what's his name? Mark Rylance, amazing in it. Hugely underrated movie. Written by Ethan and Joel Coen. I did not realize that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is full of mind-blowing conversation. I didn't mean to get on that tear of his movies, but I mean,
let's keep it. He's doing, he gets the Sully in 2016. He's doing Toy Story the whole time. Toy Story 4 in 2019. One of the greatest franchises of all time. And then, a lot of his leading movies since then have like not been successful at all. Or at least like completely ignored. The Pinocchio with that he did from with Robert Zemeckis, that's like was hugely hated. People said that was absolute garbage. And then
also, right, he did Mr. Rogers as well. Played Mr. Rogers, didn't he?
That's right. was a little forgettable. A beautiful
you
day.
know why it was forgettable, I think, is because it had to go up against that terrific documentary that they made. It was like almost side by side.
Yeah, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And then he did another movie with Zemeckis last year called Here, where it's like the entire movie is like you heard about it? It's like one.
Robin Wright Penn too. Yeah,
him and from Forrest Gump reteaming, but like the shot is like the camera just stays and it's just over like the course of like years and just showing the way time goes and all the different characters go with the camera just being placed in one spot. I did not see it.
It was advertised, and I remember seeing like a couple of but not well. It didn't seem like a movie I had to see, I guess,
Yeah. So I think, he showed up in Asteroid City, which we've talked about, was, our least favorite, but he was great.
Yeah, unfortunately, the worst Wes Anderson of him. Yeah.
But I didn't
see Phoenician Scheme.
In Phoenician Scheme. So that's his last credit. So that's Tom Hanks' filmography.
Well, it's not his last credit, though. He shows up to reprise his role as Forrest Gump.
Or just mean his most recent credit.
His son plays Forrest Gump in the Chet Hanks video for his latest music video, which is, by the way, really good. His country career, and I'm kind of drinking the Chet Hanks Kool-Aid lately. Not to go off on another tangent, but I just want to say I've been loving Chet Hanks and all the shit he's doing lately. And his dad, I love it. His dad just does not give a fuck and is supporting his son, even though his son is like the wackiest guy sometimes. Like he showed up in like this weird alternate Forrest Gump universe, and it's great. You got to see it.
So I know almost nothing about Chet Hanks. He's a musician, and so this was a video for his song.
Chet Hanks was like kind of like just like this crazy rapper. He had a song called White Boy Summer, which I actually thoroughly enjoy. The video is totally unhinged. It's amazing. It was like almost people are loving to hate him. And now he's like doing like kind of country and followed that trend. And it's like the songs are really good. And he's kind of like, he just like waxes poetic on his Instagram. And it's kind of like, I think he's been through a lot of shit. So he just kind of like has like kind of persevered. And he's still crazy wacky, and I love to watch it. And his dad is like always all over it. At one point, he kind of became this like Jamaican guy. He started like, and he got like a lot of shit for like doing a Jamaican accent. Chet Hanks, look it up. Look up White Boy Summer first. That's a few years ago, and then go into like Chet Hanks and his dad in a music video, and you'll see the progression between the two music videos.
All right, I didn't know about White Boy Summer. I've been living White Boy Summer all summer. I didn't realize there's a theme for me, so I should go listen to it right now. I have seen him once. He pops up in Curb Your Enthusiasm. I know that.
I remember Chet Hanks.
Yeah, and it's the only thing I've ever seen him in. So, and he was pretty funny in that, to be honest. So
he was in Shameless, and yeah, he's been in a few acting credits there for sure. Nice. He's been on TMZ a few times for some domestic issues, but who hasn't?
Can't compete with his brother, who shows up in the King Kong remake and is fantastic in that. So.
Oh, well, yeah. Talk about his brother was also in Orange County with another reteaming with Jack Black, Yeah.
It's all about the reteams on this. Are we still talking about Joe versus Volcano? Yeah, we've been doing Tom Hanks this whole time. So, so where does Joe versus Volcano rank in your Tom Hanks ranking?
Well, honestly, really high up there. It's weird because, like, again, I'm kind of like seeing this through different eyes right now, and like just watched it over the weekend as an adult, and I really, really loved it. But in the grand scheme of Tom Hanks and the films that we just talked about, that's impossible. It's impossible to rate, I think.
True. It does. I will say, like, after only watching it once, it has a lot more to say than a lot of Tom Hanks movies that are even great themselves, especially throughout the 80s. Like, there's just a lot of themes in this movie, like I said, which I think will keep it around in people's eyes.
But think about the romantic comedies that have teamed him in. I haven't seen You Got Mail, so I don't really know exactly the premise of that. But Sleepless in Seattle is basically based on the fact that he loses his wife. His wife dies. So there's a lot of like mortality and, start living already kind of vibe in that as well.
And You've Got Mail is all about this crazy internet everybody's talking about these days. So
Yeah, no, I haven't heard about that. But yeah, dude. So like getting back to Joe versus the Volcano, I love like that there is a through line of, hey, take a chance on living your life and stop worrying so much and stop doing the things that don't work for you. I mean, really, that's like what it's about. And once he has this, like once he finds out, you know, that he's not going to die, he's kind of like cured of this awful.
Wait, what? He learns he's not going to die? I stopped watching 2 minutes before the movie ended. So,
Are you serious?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
like, they don't
generally
even know for sure, but they're like,
I generally did not see
my
it coming.
dad's doctor. You know? Yeah.
I thought that was such a great ending. So, I mean, like I said, I've talked about this. I'm kind of a dummy. I do not think through movies like in a plot wise. Like my mind just does not like, where's this movie going? Like, because I'm always so focused on like the present. And I genuinely
it doesn't really need it, right?
It doesn't, but when it happened, I was like, that's a fucking fantastic ending. So this is great.
Right. Like, because you're like, okay, what he says to everybody watching that doesn't want to watch the film and is listening to this, like he finds out that this doctor was a setup by Lloyd Bridges' character to get somebody to jump into the volcano, because nobody and the people that are on the island don't want to do it either. Nobody wants to sacrifice themselves on the island. And so he makes this whole, Lloyd Bridges' character makes this whole like ruse so that Tom Hanks will think he's dying, so that he'll jump into it. And then his doctor is Lloyd Bridges' doctor, and he's paid to tell Tom Hanks he's going to die. So at the end, Meg Ryan, who is the daughter of the rich guy, Lloyd Bridges' character, says, hey, your doctor is blah, blah, blah. That's my dad's physician. And to my knowledge, he doesn't treat anybody but my dad. And so then they realize, okay, there's no such thing as a brain fog, and he's going to live, which is amazing because it's kind of like, you know, It's a Wonderful Life. You know, I'm going to live.
It is a ruse. And I was honestly thinking, what are the legal ramifications for Lloyd Bridges to do this? So, like,
yeah, going to jail.
I mean, telling a guy that you're dying and then exploiting him to jump in a volcano. That's more than just a screwball kind of shenanigans or antics. So,
but also the whole scene with Abe Vigoda. Can we get there? Can we talk a little bit about when
Abe Vigoda as the chief was? I was just smiling so huge when I saw him as the disgruntled chief, just being like so annoyed at having to like have this happen and lead his people to get somebody to jump into the volcano. So
like, no, pretty much you just jump into the volcano. And yeah, it's really great because it's so deadpan, and it's the comic things that I think was mentioned in the Ebert review is like everybody and every character like kind of plays into him just so perfectly. Yeah. Abe Vigoda's just like, yeah, like, okay, he's this guy who's annoyed. I'm going to be annoyed. I'm going to say, okay, you go up the mountain, and you jump in, you know? And when they get to the island, there's this crazy story about how like the islanders love orange soda. And so like their whole like outfits are filled with like cans of orange soda, and they're drinking orange soda, and they're treating them like royalty, Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. And it's like, that's such a great scene because then all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, you got to jump in. And then Tom Hanks is so dedicated to jumping in this fucking volcano, even though like Meg Ryan is like, wait, I love you. And he's like, yeah, that's great, but I got to jump in, you know, it's like very stoic. It's like that whole thing in the Stoicism book where the guy's like playing chess or something, and they're like, well, you're got to go to the guillotine. He's like, what do you mean right now? He's like, I got to finish this move. He's like, no, yeah, you got to go and be killed. It's like, Joe Banks is that character. He's like enjoying his life up until like he basically has to jump into the volcano, and he knows that's what he's got to do, and he's going to do it. But the twist is Meg Ryan is like, well, I'm going to go with you then.
They get married in such a great way. Do you take him? Do you take her? Boom, you're married. Abe Vigoda delivering that succinctly. So
yeah, exactly. And then her whole thing is like, well, we don't know what's going to happen when we jump in, so why don't we just do it, you know? And of course, the volcano spits them the fuck out, and they live happily ever after.
literally happily ever after with the title card. So,
Yep.
Yeah, the bursting out of the volcano was the most Looney Tunes moment of the movie. Maybe the shark was the hammerhead.
Well, yeah, but what did you think when you? I mean, because again, first watch, were you thinking like, okay, these guys are going to get engulfed? I mean, what did you think?
I had no. I mean, by the last 30 minutes of the movie, like I genuinely had no idea where it was going to go. So every time that something chaotic happened, they're talking about Orange Crush, and then it gets busted out of the volcano as it explodes. So I was like, that is exactly. It's not exactly where I knew it was going to go, but it fits in perfectly where I was feeling the vibes.
So that's why I think it's your kind of movie, because I just see you loving that kind of stuff. You know,
absurdism is my cinema language for sure. I absolutely love that. So, maybe some of the cast. Amanda Plummer shows up on the boat.
Yeah,
Honey Bunny.
Honey Bunny from Pulp
Fiction.
One. Yeah,
Honey
Tim
Bunny
Roth's,
or Pumpkin. I forget.
Tim Roth's lady in Pulp Fiction. Let's say.
Yeah, she's got she's not featured, but like you could hear her voice. She gives like such like Amanda Plummer vibes in the short time that she's on screen. So
yeah, and Nathan Lane. Did you know that was Nathan Lane? He's like that weird, crazy kind of like Islander guy.
I did not see Nathan Lane.
Well, you could miss it because honestly, my girlfriend and I were like, "Is that Nathan Lane?" And I didn't have the confirmation of it.
Whoa, you're right. I'm looking at. I completely missed him. That's crazy.
I mean, he is. I love like, Nathan Lane.
So.
A bunch of dress and like paint. So it is
okay.
Miss, but yeah.
Wait, what was his line
for that?
He played Baugh, the Waponi advance man. Just FYI.
Great names, by the way, for the Islanders. What the Waponi?
The Waponi. Yeah, a lot of good band names there. Brain Cloud is a good band name. Waponi would be a good band name.
Damn, yeah, you're right. Also, let's talk quickly about like the imagery of that. Like, I don't know why, but the motif of like that, like kind of like lightning strike thing. It happens when it hits the boat. That lightning strike symbol, and it's also when they're walking into. That's why it's kind of Metropolis like feel in the beginning because it's got that like symbol that goes through. The
zigzag. It's also the company he works for, American Panoscope. It's got the same.
Exactly, and I don't know why that keeps on showing up. Do you have a thought?
I saw. I mean, this is not me, but I saw something. It represents the both the fear we humans need to overcome and the circuitous detour-ridden paths of our lives. So that's what life is. It's not straight and narrow. It's just a fucking crazy zigzag, and that's your path. The exact.
I mean, Seriously, like a lot of that stuff is like kind of like over the head. And I love it. I like it's kind of like Christoph being the name of what's his name in Truman Show, Ed Harris. I just like that. Like it's clearly the Christ character is named Christoph. It's like sometimes that works for me.
But he's a little bit of a jerk off, so it's a little bit of both of Christ and a jerk off. So.
That's true. Wow, you just blew my mind right there. That's very true. Yeah.
Keeping this fucking guy from his dad.
You never had a camera in my head.
You're right. I love it. You don't know what's
that was probably one of Jim Carrey's worst acting moments if you got to break it all down.
Yeah, but that's a
camera in my head.
High bar. Everything else is fucking fantastic.
I
was watching it. I mentioned on the Coen Brothers. I thought about Hudsucker Proxy while watching this movie, and as I'm watching it on Tubi and it ends, recommendations come up. First one that is there is Hudsucker Proxy. So either
totally, and by the way,
recognize it, or they recognize it first, or we both did. So
it's kind of funny because it was only streaming for free on Tubi, and you had to kind of deal with the
commercials. I saw the first commercials I've seen in months because of watching this movie. So
totally, yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of like, all right, well, you deal with them, and it's kind of like, what's worse, dealing with that or like looking at your phone throughout a whole movie? It's like I'll take the 2 or 4 minute commercials.
Fair enough. Robert Stack, you mentioned. Dan Hedaya, we did not mention, shows up at the beginning as Tom Hanks' boss. Dan Hedaya, star of Blood Simple, which I just watched, and he's fucking amazing in that movie. He's hilarious.
He's an amazing character actor.
Yeah, so good.
Shows up and it's the face everybody knows,
Gives one of the most ridiculous faces in the entire Alien franchise. He's in Alien Resurrection Part 4. That's the one with Winona Ryder, and he gets his brain pulled out from one of the aliens, and so he reaches out, pulls out a piece of his brain, and just like looks cross-eyed at the camera. If you've never seen it and you love Dan Hedaya, just look him up at this death scene, and you'll be thanking me after that. So kick
ass, yeah. I know you're a huge Alien franchise fan, so you must have loved seeing him show up there.
It's the most ridiculous death in a mainstream horror movie for sure, especially for a great character actor like that. So,
yeah. This film, I don't know what else to say. I think we may be done talking about it, but it's really something I've wanted to cover. Every now and again, I'll think about it, and I'm so glad that it was a first watch for you. We talk about on this podcast a lot that like it's cool when one of us hasn't seen a film that one of us has like sort of like a love for or an affection for. And this film is one that was like an interesting watch because I hadn't seen it in a long time, but I always had it like just in my DNA somehow of like loving it. And now I get to watch it as an adult and love it. And then you get to watch it for the first time ever. So, it'll be interesting to see how this grows with both of us now after this watch today.
Yeah, I want to hear. Yeah, if anybody's listening, let us know what if you've ever seen this and if you're going to check it out. Because like
you said, the cult following. I didn't really look it up like that, but it does, huh? A lot of people.
It's got a lot of people that really love it. It's well revered amongst the people who do like if you get it, you get it, so, right? Yeah, exactly. So, but no, that's everything I got. I got a couple physical media movies related to this movie. So if we want to move on, unless
I think we're good with the film. I think we've talked it enough. Thanks for doing a little research on it. I thought it was cool to hear a little bit of the the players behind it, and also just like it takes a creative mind such of this director and writer to put together a story of guy jumping into a volcano, but make it really more about life and how to live it. So yeah, kudos to that. I love this film, and I'm glad to talk about it with you on our podcast, our great podcast that's 5 years strong. This is episode 77 today.
Crushing it. All right, let's start with actually staying on the director, John Patrick Shanley. I forgot to mention he like I said, he was a playwright, and he wrote Doubt as a stage play, which got turned into the film, which he directed with Philip Seymour Hoffman and
he won the Oscar for that.
I think he was nominated. I don't know if he might have won.
Or maybe he won for Capote. Okay, yeah.
Oh, Philip Seymour. I'm sorry, I thought you meant the director. He might have.
Somebody won an Oscar for that.
Yeah. But before in the 90s, he was just a for-hire writer. He was the writer, John Patrick Shanley, director and writer of the movie we just talked about. He was the writer of one of my favorite B movies from the 90s, Congo.
Damn.
So Congo was the follow-up to Jurassic Park. They tried to recreate the magic of Jurassic Park from a Michael Crichton movie. Failed miserably, but this was always a movie that I absolutely loved because of its ridiculousness and its throwback to jungle exploration vibes. And this new release, this just came out from Vinegar Syndrome this past year. This has got an amazing release. This is just how physical media should be done. You got the cover here with Tim Curry and Bruce Campbell on the cover with the Amy the gorilla. You have never seen this movie, yes?
I have never seen it, and I'm just like seeing your love for it makes me. Really,
I think you would have such a great time. For one, By
the way, that art is beautiful. If anybody
absolutely
can't see it, yeah, that is beautiful.
The cast in this movie is incredible. The strongest part is Ernie Hudson, basically as the lead. He's the Great White Hunter, who has a great line about that. He's like, "I'm the Great White Hunter, but I happen to be black." He's
amazing.
It's one of his best roles. He's so fucking charming and such a great lead in this movie. He's fantastic. But yeah, Tim Curry is hamming
Ernie
it up.
Hudson of Ghostbusters fame, of course.
Yeah. Tim Curry hamming it up. Bruce Campbell, Joey Pants shows up. There are just so many great character
Bruce Campbell,
actors.
say no more. I didn't even fucking realize he was in that.
Yeah. So John Patrick Shanley wrote that script. Now, he was not a huge fan of how the movie turned out. So he is on record on how much they changed from his original script. So he's still obviously the main writer of it, but very different from what he was originally aiding. Then. No, definitely not. One of Spielberg's guys, Frank Marshall.
Oh, okay.
Producer.
Frank Marshall, the producer. Wow.
Yeah. Which is, we didn't even mention this movie we just watched.
Produced
by Spielberg
Kennedy
and all of them, his crew. So, that's actually a connection I'm just putting together right now, that it was the Marshall clan, and then he ended up writing for Congo.
Yeah, shocking.
So watch Congo. That's a great physical media release. And then we'll move into Tom Hanks, which I got my copy of The Burbs signed by Joe Dante this weekend.
Right. Flashback Weekend, what is that?
Horror convention in Chicago. Goes on every year. Days of the Dead also, but Flashback is always a strong contender for one of the best. And the lineup this year was amazing. So being able to see the Terrifier reunion, everybody from Terrifier, Kane Hodder was there, little Billy Zane hanging out, and my favorite Joe Dante. So getting his autograph for The Burbs, which is one of my personal favorite Tom Hanks movies. So
that's awesome, man. And by the way, that looks awesome that you got that case on that VHS. So if you're not watching, Patrick has one of those awesome plastic cases. So was that the copy of The Burbs? Did you buy it there, or you just had that?
I've had this one for a little while now. So yeah, not quite since Suncoast days, but yeah, it's there. And you mentioned how his A's, or his spelling of my name.
Yeah.
His A's are just backward S's though. So he did spell my name right. His A's just look like a backward S.
Oh, gotcha.
So you can see.
Well, that's cool. I'm sure that's a very clear factor of that. It's actually a legit thing. I also know that you sent me a picture of the Leprechaun uniform from the first Leprechaun.
Dude, being in the vicinity of that was a piece of history for sure.
Definitely the coolest photo I've gotten all year long. So
hell yeah. Picked up an original VHS copy of the original Terminator. So nice HBO release from 1988.
25 bones for that, huh?
Oh shit, I probably shouldn't have shown everybody.
No, that's fine. I mean,
swimming in money, so but it was worth every dollar. So
I was gonna say that's expensive, I think, for a VHS. Yeah, I mean, what are they going for these days?
Yeah, that's a little bit up there. So I might have overpaid for it, but totally worth it for that one. So, and yeah, those are my favorite pickups from Flashback Weekend. I mentioned Billy Zane. He was signing shirts that said, I have a child. And all I hear is him just saying, get out of the way. I have a child. And he's so great in that. So,
from Titanic.
Yeah, so.
Oh, man.
Cal's actually kind of the hero of Titanic. I said what I said. So he saved that child's life. So
listen, I'll tell you what, that movie doesn't work without Billy Zane, and we can't wait to see him as Brando. I don't think that's out yet, right?
I just saw a poster. I barely realized that it was happening. He looks so much like Brando.
It's stupid.
It's ridiculous how much he looks like him. That is honestly some of the most ridiculously good makeup and kind of vibes that he's catching with that. So
yeah, totally. I think it's about his time in Tahiti, which is it's an interesting time period of Brando's life. I can't wait to see it. I mean, Billy Zane is Brando. Come on.
Another pickup recently. I think I sent you this one. This will definitely be an upcoming cover for the podcast, Frailty, and this new 4K hardcover box set. I'm very excited to watch this. So what a great fucking movie.
What an amazing, by the way, the art is always so amazing on these,
Otis, the axe in the back.
With the flowers. Oh my God.
Yeah. Same.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that's all I got right now. So what are you watching lately? It's good in your world.
Jealous of that, your trip over there to that festival. I love going to those.
Always a good time. I mean, it's just endless horror fans, and everybody's so chill. You can just tell everybody's there because they love horror movies. So it's always I feel comfortable in that vibe. So
we'll bust through these. Yeah, thanks for sending me those photos too. But we'll bust through these real quick. I just want to go through them because I mentioned it and I remembered I have it on my phone. The question was my top 5 movies from my childhood that I would still watch today or that I rewatched today that I love.
Oh, okay.
And so my list went to 15 things that I said, and I'll give them to you in order. We don't have to discuss them, but number 1 was Jurassic Park. Number 2 is Batman. Number 3 was Back to the Future. Number 4 is Wizard of Oz. I know it's not necessarily from the time period, but Wizard of Oz I watched all the time as a kid, and I would watch it over and over, still do. 5, Goonies, okay? And now here's where it starts to get weird. Neverending Story. And then you've got at number 7, Ghostbusters. It's like, how does Ghostbusters not go to number 1? But you gotta compile this somehow. And then there's number 8 is E.T., 9, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey. I don't care. They're interchangeable. They're both great. 10, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. 11, Jaws. Again, I watched it all the time as a kid. So 12 is Karate Kid. 13, Rad. You've seen the movie Rad, right?
Not as an adult.
Oh my God, dude. The BMX movie. My brother and I watched that all the time. 14, Short Circuit. I mean, we barely ever scratch the surface about talking about Short Circuit 1 and 2, both fantastic films. And then number 15, I got Joe Versus the Volcano on there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Red look at those great our childhood was, you know?
Red is the only one on that list that I'm not really that familiar with. But yes, you are just kind of pointing out what we take for granted is how many fucking amazing movies we had at our, like, that were the new movies to watch while we were growing up. I mean, a little ahead of the time, but like, I mean, you're a little bit older, but watching all the movies that you just mentioned in our childhood is, I mean, we're spoiled endlessly with that.
I mean, these days, you know, that's okay. The kids have Sydney Sweeney, so that's okay. But let me just say something that I've been doing lately. I've been writing a brand new EP that I'm trying really, really hard to get done by my birthday, our birthday. So everybody's listening. We share the same birthday, me and Patrick here, which is crazy. I'm hoping I can finish it by then. I got so much angst in me. It's a really great punk rock record, but we'll see. You know, it's fun. I've been feeling really creative, doing something a little different, changing. I'm making no money at it. I'm broke as fuck, but I'm having a great time. This is my Joe Versus the Volcano diatribe. I really connected to that because, you know, I could be working in an office somewhere and I'm not. Then what I've been doing at the end of the night to relax and to chill is watching all of the Jaws movies front to back. So I have finished now Jaws 1 through 4.
Damn.
And I've enjoyed myself very much. I had forgotten about 3. It is so bad on the special effects. Maybe that's because they tried to make it 3D. I don't know, but the effects are some of the worst I've ever seen. And 4 was fucking fun. You know, the mom comes back and she, you know, and the shark is taunting everybody and like her kid gets eaten at the beginning. I mean, it was great.
Taunting is one way to put it. That's what makes that movie great. Is that a shark has a dead set revenge for a family on land. Yes. So that's what makes that movie fantastic. So I saw Jaws for the revenge at the music box in the garden just last year. So it was a Twilight.
That's right. I forgot you told me about that.
Twilight screening of Jaws for the Revenge with Michael Caine, and everybody had a great time for sure. So,
dude, Michael Caine as this weird kind of character. We've talked about it that it paid for his summer home. Also, Mario Van Peebles, dude, somehow survives a shark chomping him to pieces. But yeah, anyway, I've been doing that, and then you know, going out, having a good time, going for walks, whatever. I'm sure I'm missing some things I've been up to, but yeah, just trying to really do some music lately. And I've been growing my, I've been doing these things called cemetery dates where I've been like making YouTube videos about like visiting cool cemeteries and people at the cemeteries, like combining my love of history with my love of film, because I, go over here and I've covered a lot of people, and also music, because I've covered a lot of musicians that have died and that are buried right down the street. So yeah, I've been keeping busy even when, the money isn't coming but in hand and fist. I'm still finding ways to chum up some stuff. I recently made a t-shirt design for my hometown, because I've talked about it before, I think, but Jack Black lives in the area and I see him almost every day. He is on, like, I'll see him after he was at Ozzy Osbourne's funeral. I saw him the next day driving around on a scooter. Then he hosts Saturday Night Live. I saw him the very next day driving around and stopping at Pam's. I was right next to him getting a coffee. The guy, it's like he's amazing, and he's clearly done so well in his life, but he drives these Lime scooters around town and goes on walks, and he's very accessible. He's always around. Nobody bothers him, of course. So I made this drawing of him on a Lime scooter going through town, and it like went off like hotcakes. People in the neighborhood have like, it's like a very insider baseball, but the people who do know love it. And so like a ton of these shirts have gone out the door, which has been like a nice blessing. So if you're out there, Jack Black, and you're listening, we love the King Kong version that you're in, and we love seeing you around town, or at least I do. And we got to cover more Jack Black on this podcast. So that's what I've been up to. And yeah,
he's like the neighborhood mascot.
He's like the neighborhood mascot. Everybody loves him here. He's become part of the lore, Moving into the song
School of Rock. I will push for School of Rock to cover for Jack Black, just FYI. So
School of Rock I've seen one time, probably in the theater, and I'd love to see it again. I'd love to talk about it.
Honestly, one of my favorite Linklater films. It's up there in top 5 for sure.
That's easy to forget that's a Linklater film too.
That's just, in my opinion, like one of the most perfect casting of all time. Like, that movie is Jack Black. Jack Black is that movie. It's like, it's just absolutely serendipitous casting. And
well, dude, you just listen to like the tribute. Jack Black suffers, I think, like, and not even suffers from it, but like of somebody who's so original and such a character that he became like a parody of himself.
Right.
That's sort of what happens.
Yeah, that is true. That's
people who are that good. That's like Wes Anderson. Like that's what Asteroid City. I don't know if I don't like it because like it's not a good movie, but I think it's too convoluted. But also, it's Wes Anderson is like, it kind of started to like wear on you, and it's like, but he's the originator of Wes Anderson, right? You know, so it's crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we can go into our song choices if you like.
Well, got a couple more things.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't.
Joe Dante. We were just talking about Joe Dante. We forgot to mention he's co-director of Rock and Roll High School. Which is always just fun to know.
Yeah.
James Cameron was a PA on that. 134 days until Avatar 3, just FYI.
Did you see the trailer drop? Last episode, Patrick was talking about going to the theater to see some shitty movie.
That's right.
The fucking trailer.
I did not go to the theater. I ended up just watching it on YouTube, and halfway through, I kind of just even turned away because I don't even want to watch the rest of it because I'm so excited for it. I'm just not a trailer person.
Oh, really? So yeah, you didn't want to get.
Yeah, no, I kept on like feeling like I wanted to watch it, but I've seen images enough to give me a taste of what Avatar 3 is going to be, and it's looking great. Heat 2, you just messaged me about. The budget is looking huge.
You did see that before the episode. Okay.
Yeah. Possibly Leo being the lead of Heat 2, because I thought it was going to be Adam Driver for a long time. I know he was attached to it, but obviously it's obviously a big difference. But yeah, that $170 million budget, I don't know how I feel about that. Heat 2.
I mean, well, Heat 2,
there needs to be
we
more.
were kind of joking when we covered Heat that like Heat 2 had a sequel. And now, like, this is going to be like one of the most anticipated big budget movies. Like,
yeah,
you read the book. I mean, is it worth it?
I just think movies need to stop being so expensive. That's kind of a huge issue with modern movies, and why there's so much garbage out there is they just cost too much money to come across. There are no more mid-budget movies, and Heat is like the definition.
I know nothing about like budget, so I can't really say anything about that. I mean, on paper, I agree with you, but I don't know what it costs to make a movie. I mean, look, the Heat too, they're gonna want to have fucking guns ablazing, I imagine, you know, and then you gotta like set that up. I'm sure the safety shit, like I'm sure.
Yeah, but they've been making movies like that for decades without being hundreds of millions of dollars, you know.
I mean, nobody wants a Rust 2, bro.
Yeah, but we want John Woo, so there's a happy medium. So,
yeah.
I saw one of my favorite movies of the year, the new Naked Gun, in theaters yesterday.
God bless, you saw it, huh?
I cannot express how fucking fantastic it was. It captures the vibe of those first three movies so well. As somebody who grew up watching those first three like dozens of times as a kid, we love Leslie Nielsen on this podcast. This movie, like 100%, is made with love and attention to the vibe of those movies. So that's all I'll say. Really, it fits right in with that original trilogy, and can't recommend it more.
Leslie Nielsen, I mean, what a character. Yeah. And so to be able to walk in his footsteps, I mean, an originator that I could see how it could happen with Leslie Nielsen. Liam Neeson. Yeah. He's very much like underrated as far as his comic chops, I think.
His narration, like the narration throughout all the movies with Leslie Nielsen, it's like the narration was always like so ridiculous. He captures it perfectly in this movie. So
awesome. That and Eddington were on my list to see, and I think I may possibly miss out on Eddington because I don't know if it's still in theaters.
Yeah, missed Eddington. I forgot how many I started watching part 3 of The Naked Gun last night, just when I got home. And one of the underrated aspects of that trilogy is like how many like movie references they put in, like classic cinema. And the opening scene in part 3 is the battleship Potemkin with the stairs, which De Palma did in The Untouchables. Yeah. That's that whole opening scene of part 3, and it's fucking absolutely gorgeous. Love it. I'm so happy. Yeah, 33 and a third with Fred Ward and Anna Nicole.
Oh, that's right.
Doing their great job. So I'm so happy there's at least a few comedy movies in the theaters again, because it was great to see it in an audience and everybody going nuts for it. So
good.
Yeah, that's all exciting stuff in my world right now, movie wise.
Cool.
So what are you listening to these days?
More theater movies. I've been slacking on that. The Vista. I walked by it the other day. I sent you a picture. You know, I'd go on walks every day, and the Vista Theater is right next to me. And I was walking by, and it said, tribute to Michael Madsen. And I was like, holy shit! But Tarantino's probably in there, and he was. I saw on TMZ who was Sean Penn was in there. Like, literally, I could have just waited outside at Pam's Coffee and saw those fucking legends walk out. I didn't, it was his memorial, so I didn't want to do it. But then I saw a amazing film clip from Tarantino talking and telling the story about Michael Madsen, and telling Tarantino like how he was like really, really like right when they made Reservoir Dogs, how he was happy that he fired what's the older actor in that again? Classic actor.
In Reservoir?
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Yes, Lawrence
Tierney.
Yeah, Lawrence Tierney.
Yeah.
He fired him because he was being a dick to Tarantino, and Tarantino was like, yeah, and then we were gonna all go out drinking after the film wrapped or something. He's like, I got a phone call, and it was Michael Madsen, and Michael Madsen was like, I'm so fucking happy you stuck up for yourself and fired Lawrence Tierney. I guess he was like a classic drunk, like, and it was just kind of like a hothead or whatever. But anyway, that was cool to walk by there, and I captured the marquee. I saw Virginia Madsen had posted it too because she was there, and it was just really beautiful.
I always forget that they were siblings.
I know.
Yeah.
Both she is so incredible. Good in Sideways, man. So good in Sideways.
I love Virginia Madsen. Rewatching her in Candyman is amazing. She's fucking,
dude, Happy Gilmore too, by the way, I saw.
Oh, how was that? I have not watched it yet.
It was fun. It was fun.
I heard there's a few cameos in it. So
yeah, those cameos can be a little bit of why. It was like, do I need to see Travis Kelce in there? No, but I can understand why he's in there, because every Taylor Swift fan is going to go and watch the movie, and it I'm sure it made a shit ton of money. It was sure as hell was advertised well around here, and then the Eminem cameo was totally pointless. And and stupid. Like they didn't even do it well. I didn't even use him well, in my opinion. But
oh, that breaks my heart.
Character.
I did see the Eminem scene, so, and it looked. I enjoyed it, but I'm a ride or die for Eminem. So,
well, I love Eminem too, but I just thought it was kind of like I wish he would have been used a little bit more. But then again, like he probably was like, "Yo, I'll do this for you because we're friends," but like I don't want to be in the movie, Anyway, that was fun. Yeah, I talked about the Jaws stuff. I think we'll cruise on to our jukebox picks, and then we'll ride out to the sunset until our next talk. Sure. I'll go first. This is a pick based on the film because Fountains of Wayne, which is one of my favorite bands of all time, they're like a classic thing is kind of like working class songs, about like small towns and people working day jobs and getting off and going and having a drink and things like that. And so I love the song Hey Julie, which is going to be my pick. It's off of Welcome Interstate Managers, which is like their third record. And so Hey Julie is about like, working all day for a mean little guy with the bad toupee and the slip-on tie. He's got me running around the office like a gerbil on a wheel. He can tell me how to act, but he can't tell me how to feel. And it's kind of like he's singing to this girl like, look what these guys are doing to me. They're trying to trip me up and wear me down, but I never make it through without you. And so anyway, great lyrics. Great for the everyman, and I think it works perfectly with this movie.
I didn't know they were one of your favorite bands of all time. That's
that first record of theirs was like the soundtrack of me, like in high school, loving my girlfriend at the time, and just like being free. And it feels like that every time I listen to it.
Is that the self-titled one?
Yeah,
with
vibe and everything.
With Sink to the Bottom, which you put on our list before, which is a great song. So that's their first album? Okay, yeah. I know I've listened to it, just not recently.
The song with Hey Julie, or the record with Hey Julie has like,
That's the Julie's mom?
Yes.
Stacey's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Julie and Stacey's mom.
Maybe the more popular pick, but yeah, Hey Julie's great.
No, I know that's a great album too. There's the opening track on that album is really good. I know I like that.
I mean, there's a movie tie-in too, because Adam Schlesinger, of course, wrote That Thing You Do. The late Adam Schlesinger. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't appropriately give my adoration for That Thing You Do when you brought it up because we were just flying through. I fucking love That Thing You Do. That was like a movie we watched all the time when it was first out. That's a great 90s comedy for sure.
One of the best taglines of any movie. Sooner or later, that dream you dream becomes that thing you do.
Ooh, it is pretty epic.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
Written, directed, acted.
I was going to say the wisdom of Tom Hanks can't reject it. So, and the absurdism of Steve Zahn, you have a winning combination.
Great seeing him pop up in White Lotus a couple seasons ago, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. I still haven't watched any White Lotus, but I would watch it for that.
I'm not going to talk to you about TV shows anymore until you actually watch one, and then we'll talk about it.
You know what I am watching some of right now is I've never seen it in my life is Cheers. So I'm rewatching the sitcom Cheers for the first time. So,
okay,
yeah,
you like it?
Catching up. It's great. I
rest in peace. George Wendt just passed away.
Yeah, I loved Frasier growing up, and so now I'm kind of putting that together and watching the OG Cheers.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
you didn't know that they were connected?
No, I knew they were connected for sure. I just had never gone back and watched the original sitcom. So
I mean, one of the probably most successful sitcom spin-offs of all time, Frasier.
I fucking love Frasier. The first 3 seasons of Frasier are like some of the best sitcom seasons in writing out there. So
I don't know what I do with that tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
I was hoping you were going to go into that. So fantastic. So, okay. So I've been listening to the Devil's Rejects soundtrack. 20 years old. This movie. Yeah, we just can't. 20 years old.
Never seen. Yeah,
you've never seen Devil's Rejects,
dude. Honestly, Rob Zombie. You know how much I love his Halloween movies, and you know how much I love him. This movie's fuck with me. They're fucked up.
He's a true grindhouse director. So,
yeah, he is. Yeah,
he is a true grindhouse director. Devil's Rejects. I personally like Halloween 2 as his favorite movie, but Devil's Rejects is often cited as his best movie, and I would never disagree with it. It is it's really fucking good. Like it has a dirty, mean Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe, and it's truest to like what he kind of goes for. Most entertaining, performances are great, and the music is fucking awesome. So, but it is 20 years old now. I wouldn't mind covering it on the podcast. I know we're going to eventually cover both of his Halloweens, possibly even this year. So, but the soundtrack has a couple songs that I'm actually going to recommend because so Terry Reid, the singer-songwriter, actually just passed away this week, and he has 5 songs between Devil's Rejects and 3 from Hell, which is the sequel to Devil's Rejects. Cool. Five songs that Zombie featured from Terry Reid throughout the movie, so he was a huge part of it. So he just passed away. Obviously, Zombie was a huge fan of him, so I'm going to recommend Seed of Memory from Terry Reid. Amazing, like 70s singer-songwriter vibe to it. Cool. Such a great song, but then also, so that's the closing song. I'm also going to slide in Midnight Rider by the Allman Brothers Band, which is the opening song from Devil's Rejects. So kind of the bookend music. So I'm sure you'll listen to both of these and be like, this is a vibe of a dirty, mean horror movie that I definitely need to watch now. So
wait. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Zombie. I fucking love Zombie as a director. Like he is
House of a Thousand Corpses. He would put in like Ramones songs during like chainsaw scenes and stuff. It was really
he's
great.
Always, I mean, understandably as a musician, like he's always been really focused on the music in his movies, and I think he's always been very successful in that. Like I said, there's a couple scenes in the Halloween 2 director's cut and the song choices that he used that are just like they cut so deep and are so effective. Yeah, no pun intended. That they're so effective. I'm very excited to cover those. But yeah, focusing on Devil's Rejects this week, and I'm excited. I know you would not be watching that as a couple. You'd be watching that solo if you did for Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, I would never let her watch those. Yeah. Cool. Okay, we add that to the jukebox. Everybody, there is a Spotify playlist that we have going with all of our picks from the last close to 77 I mean, we weren't doing this for all of our episodes, but there's probably like 50 plus on there. And Patrick and I, well, I mean, over 100 now because we both picked one, but
we're at 105 songs on our jukebox right now.
Okay, so we started around the 50 something mark then during this. And yeah, it's a pretty eclectic playlist, pretty crazy. And Patrick has links to those that he puts in the show notes, so enjoy. And we have YouTube, which is like where we're popping off the most, where people are watching and listening the most. So if you have that, you can watch this show there. You can also stream it everywhere to just listen. I love the comments. I love talking to people about movies, and there's been more of that lately. So keep it going, please. We love that. We love talking movies. It's hard to find movie people, you know, it really is, or that get it the way that you do. And I think that we're pretty niche in our vibe. So when people do comment, we don't take it for granted.
No, definitely appreciate the movie nerd stuff. So keep it coming.
Hell yeah. All right, boss man.
All right, brother. Joe Versus the Volcano. Very delighted. I know this is one that's going to stick with me for a while. So appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. And I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Hey, have a great birthday if I don't talk to you before then.
We're getting old, bud. It's going to happen. So,
hey, you keep on getting older. I stay the same age.
Love it. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
See you later. Bye.